Adjustments. Move my things around here. This way. I'm late, but here I am. Let me swing it one more time. There we go. I think that's good. I'll be right back. I am here. Hey, hey. I know about Fago Peach. Fago Peach. Well, y'all, welcome to Sound Off Saturday. I know I said I was going to be on here long. I'm not, because I have to preach tomorrow. I have to preach first Sunday, which is tomorrow in person. So I need to comb over my sermon with a fine tooth comb, like I always do, and find other things. Not find other things, but just make sure that I don't know, make sure that I am saying the right things, doing the right things, and all of that. Sometimes when you write, I'm just telling you, I know people on here may not be preachers. Sometimes when you write sermons, depending on what it is you're dealing with in your life in that moment or what you're going through, that may come out a little bit in your message. So I have to be careful, but I'm not going to be on here long because, again, I do have to speak. I have to preach in the morning. And so I want to make sure that I am on track and doing the right thing. So, hey, 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 Tamika. Hey, hey, hey. So, first of all, shout out to the home team. Always keeping a stash. The Fago Peach is the best Fago right here, baby. But always keeping a stash. And I found a new location that sells Fago. And I'm just thankful. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey Matt, happy New Year's Eve and into the new year. So listen, I wanted to jump on here because I really want to close 2022 out on some lessons that we've learned in 2022. Now, this clearly is not an exhaustive list of everything everyone has learned in 2022 at all. It's not even close. These are just some things that I went back on my old sound offs, and just some things that happened that I thought maybe this would be a good idea to kind of mention or talk about. Plus, I want to show y'all what I plan to go into 2023 reading and doing, because I picked up a lot of really good books this year and I really didn't crack open enough. But I digress. I'll tell you my book problem later. So, um, right. So it's the last day, evening before 2022. I mean, before 2023. Whew. And really from March 2020 to March 2022, like those 2 years went by like super fast. Like, honestly, when we hit March 2023, it will be 3 years. And I'm pretty sure I was reading something that was talking about the PTSD of the pandemic has yet to hit. And they were looking at a range of somewhere from year 3 to 5 after everything that we may start to see some things like that happen. So while we are all thinking, here it is, we thinking we surviving and getting through, it's like, wait a minute, something else must be coming. Anyway, but those 2 years really flew by. Honestly, they really did. I think this year I really started to feel like the minutes, the days, the weeks, the months like I used to. But sometimes I refer to things and it really did happen like a long time ago. And I'm thinking it just happened. Or I refer to something, I'm either referring to something that just happened that I think happened 2 years ago, or no, wrong statement. I'm either referring to something that happened and I'm thinking it happened way back and it really didn't, or I'm referring to something pre-pandemic. I guess this is like the fog of the pandemic or whatever. But there's a lot of things that happened in these last few years, I think, for a lot of people. Um, and of course, with the official toll of people who died due to COVID related complications being over 6 million, that in and of itself is a staggering statistic to think about and to really, grab onto. And then here we are, Barbara Walters passed away yesterday. One of them popes passed away. That's not the current pope, but he was a previous pope. And I'm not Catholic, so I don't know how many popes ago he was and all of that. But and then like Twitch passed not too long ago. It's just so many like things that come and come and come and come, and it's like, okay, before you can get a chance to reflect on one thing, here comes something else. So I want to specifically highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in 7 situations that I think we all can learn from, right? And because this is my sound off, I talk about all things: politics, entertainment, your favorite folks, the Ratchet Housewives, whoever. I talk about church ministry because this is who I am and this is what I do. So these things span across a variety of topics and people. But the first one is the first lesson that I want to, and I did write these down, so I'm not going off the cuff. I'm trying not to go off the cuff because I don't want to be on here long. But the first one I'm thinking about that comes to mind first is Twitch. Um, I don't know anyone who knew Twitch personally, right? I knew Twitch from Ellen show. Hey Jeff. And and then he and his wife doing all these dances on TikTok and Instagram, like for workouts and stuff. But I had no idea that Twitch was like a performer. Like that he was on So You Think You Can Dance. Like I had no idea. I don't know his origin story, right? Hey Tiana. So I think one of the things that we can learn from Twitch, taking his life, and I know that there are several other people. I can't remember if Regina King's son was in this year, but I feel like he was in this year too. But one thing we can take away that I wrote down, I'm going to read it exactly the way I wrote it, and then I'll talk about it, is to do the best that you can do to crawl out of those deep, dark holes and spaces that we find ourselves in when life hits us a little bit. I'm going to read that again because I'm going through lessons learned. That's what this is. That's what this is. Do the best you can to crawl out of those deep, dark spaces and holes that we fall in when life hits us. Now, what does do the best that we can means? I left it very vague because doing the best that we can means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Um, there are a lot of people who ascribe to a religious philosophy, a spiritual philosophy. It's something outside of themselves, be it God, Jesus, Buddha, whomever. So there are a lot of people who ascribe to something like that that's outside of themselves, because what we do know, hey, Sandy Lakiri, what we do know is that it's hard enough being in this version of ourself in this body all the time. And if we're only depending on what's in here, we may not get what we need all the time. So people who seek outside of their own body, that this is what they do it for, right? So that they can gain strength when they don't have any strength, right? So that they can stay encouraged. Some people go to therapy, right? They do intense counseling. Some people, that therapy and that counseling may turn into medical treatment that may cause one to take medication or to cut out and change their diet, because they tell you that your diet obviously impacts everything. Your diet can impact your mental state, your physical state, everything. So when I say do the best you can do to crawl out of those deep, dark holes and places that we find ourselves in, such as the deep, dark hole that Twitch found himself in for whatever reason. Um, I mean, find all those options. If it's good girlfriends, if it's good guy friends, if it's a church, if it's a mosque, if it is, just throwing yourself into community service so that you just think outside. Again, this whole idea of doing stuff outside of yourself, I think, is very important, because even the strongest person gets weak, right? Even the strongest person breaks down. And so all the strength that you think you have will be tested. It will be tested. So I cannot say enough. I do feel like everyone has to find something outside of themselves to help them get through. And I don't know if Twitch had that. I don't know if any of the people who have taken their lives, I don't know if any of them ever had that or have it. But what I do know is, I know I'm trying to be serious, but sometimes I can't help but interject some humor here. That the Ghetto Boys got it right. My mind played tricks on me. Now I know their mind was playing tricks on them because they were high, but that statement is true. Your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind will attach itself to something that you never thought you would do before. You never thought you would say. You would go somewhere you never thought you would go, do something you never thought you would do, and then look where you end up. So that's the first thing I think that we can all learn from, one of the many millions of things we can all learn from 2022 and from the past 2 years. Do the best you can do to crawl out of those deep, dark holes and spaces, be that prayer, meditation, working out, listening to podcasts, baking. There's a number of things, um, journaling, all of these different things that people can do. So that is, related to Twitch. And that situation is still unbelievable. But I mean, if you don't really know a person, you don't really know what is believable and what isn't. I don't know what Twitch's life was like. I just know that, he appeared one way on the outside, right? And clearly he was tormented more than we knew. Okay. The second thing that I'm saying that we can learn from 2022 and just 2022 and all the way back from Brittany Griner. There are many lessons that we can learn from Brittany Griner. But I'm taking a very practical one. It's practical, but hear me when I say this. Never give up, and don't deny the power of love and people that you love pulling for you. I need to say that again, because it's not just about never giving up, but it's also about not denying the power of love and people pulling for you. And that can kind of go with the first thing we talked about with Twitch. But what I think about with Brittany Griner is, I think about her wife, Sherelle, is that her name? I think about her wife, And I think about all the things that people get themselves into and situations that people get themselves into. It is often those that are around them that continue to surround them with love and support that help them get through it. And I don't think we can underestimate how our crew, our group, our people, whatever, if it's a preacher for you, if it's a teacher for you, that they really can I don't know, like love is a powerful thing and they really can pull you up out of that. I can only imagine that in those 9 or 10 months that Brittany Griner was detained in Russia, um, that the only thing that kept her going was something outside of herself, back to the first thing, if it's God, whoever, and the love her wife had for her. Because aside of watching Stranger Things with my kids and seeing Russian prisoners being depicted, I have no idea what that looks like and what that feels like. But I'm pretty sure that I can sum up and say it didn't look good or feel good. Um, but the people who are around you, who know you, who love you, who stick with you, who help pull you out of things. And sometimes people help pull you out of stuff, but they don't stick around. And that's okay too. There are sometimes when I think about Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Like, I know a lot of us say we wouldn't have done that for him, but one thing she did do was she helped pull him out of a dark place. But then she kept going with her life. That is perfectly fine too. Like to have that level of intention and to help pull people out of a dark place, but then you still like, okay, my work is done and I'm moving on. So I think that that's something that we can learn from Brittany Griner and her wife and that entire situation. I'm not arguing about whether or not she was right, wrong, or indifferent with what she did, if she did it, if it was a conspiracy, if it was planted, this chess pawn game that countries play with each other and with people, which is just ridiculous. That is beside the point. It's completely beside the point. All right, let's go to the next thing I think we can learn. And I just thought about something else. So I got to write it down really quickly. Oh, so Will Smith and Nick Cannon. When I wrote this down the first time, I only wrote Nick Cannon's name. But then I thought about Will Smith based on what I wrote. So here's the third thing I think we can learn. One of the, number 3 of 3 million things that we can learn from 2022. To try to make decisions that you'll be able to live with. Right? Um, and the key word there is try. Because sometimes even when we put our best effort forward, emotions, passion, anger, whatever, take over, right? Those different emotions will take over. But try to make decisions that you will be able to live with. Because even though Will Smith is back out there and he's doing interviews and different things like that, and he, seems to be, you know, coming through what he did, that's something Will Smith is going to have to live with for the rest of his life. Right. Um, and who knows if Chris Rock will ever forgive him or want to have a one-to-one with him or anything. I know that Will wants to do that to help himself heal, but the problem with when you want to heal from something you did to somebody is this. Everybody don't want to do that. Some people want to say, I don't ever want to see or talk to that person again, and I'm fine with that. And they may want to move on. And so what you have to do when you're dealing with those kind of things, like within yourself, if you want to heal, then you got to figure out a way for you to heal without involving the other person, because you can't force anybody to heal. Hey, Vanessa. So in this third lesson I'm talking about in 2022, I'm specifically using this one that says to make decisions that you will be able to live with. I'm referring to Will Smith and I'm referring to Nick Cannon. Now, I already said what I said about Will Smith, and I'm going to move on. Again, try to make decisions that you can live with, that you'll be able to live with. Same conversation with Nick Cannon. Everybody thought it was all funny and cute in the beginning, right? And everybody was making these comments. Well, he got the money to have as many kids as he want. These women, they all agreed to it, blah, 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 blah. And then we saw Nick Cannon not too long ago sitting in an interview talking about how he regrets that he's probably not going to be able to spend time with these kids. And it took him number 12 to feel that. Right? So again, I'm talking about trying to make decisions that you're going to be able to live with, because when you're making these decisions in the heat of the moment, in the passionate moments, whatever it is, these are things that you're going to have to live. There are 12 children out here now that he is father. And I know he ain't the only person that had 12 children in the whole world. Some people had 12, 20, 30, whatever. But my point is, now you're looking back and thinking about all of these things. It's different when all these kids are babies and they barely know you. They oohing and ahhing and cooing and cawing at everybody because they're babies. At some point, these kids are going to start asking questions. At some point, these kids are going to start wanting to know where you are for the recitals and all of these different things that you're not going to be able to go to because you can't be 12 places at one time. You just can't do it. So again, I'm talking about trying to make decisions that you're going to be able to live with. Because I think that even though Nick Cannon may continue to procreate, he's going to struggle with this because he's struggling with it now. But it took kid number 12 for him to struggle with it. But he's struggling now, which means he's going to struggle more. And it's going to eat him up. It's going to eat him up. And in a few years anyway, just like I told y'all before on my Sound Offs, we're going to see all the Kardashian kids going to have a reality show because they're going to be talking about their parents and the crazy life that those people have put them in. Nick Cannon's kids going to have reality show. All these kids going to have reality shows. It's going to be John and Kate plus 8 all over again, except the John and the Kate are not just going to be regular people. It's going to be these celebrities' kids. So try to make decisions that you can live with. All right, number four. This one is related to Lizzo specifically. And that is using your platform. Using your platform not only for you, but to uplift others. I think that Lizzo has done all that she can do to prove her heart to people. I know it's hard to get past Lizzo's butt cheeks sometimes. I'm just being honest. Because I follow Lizzo, so sometimes I scroll and her butt cheeks pop up. I can't help it because I follow her. And it's hard for a lot of people to get past Lizzo. Period. It's hard for you to get past the exterior of Lizzo and who she actually is underneath all the layers of all the stuff that she puts out there for people to see. A lot of people feel like she doesn't do a good job of being a good role model because they feel like she's teaching people that being obese is okay and all these different things. And no matter what you think about Lizzo, what Lizzo has always done that I have watched her do over the years is, and her name is Melissa, she has always uplifted other people on her platform. And it's usually people that nobody knows and talks about, or people who deserve more of a spotlight than other people. And so Lizzo will continue to thrive. She will continue to make the money that she makes and have the following that she does because she spends a lot of her time recognizing other people, uplifting other people, and giving other people opportunities on her platform through her Yitty underwear line. She spends all these other she uses all these other things within like the Lizzo verse here, the Lizzo universe, to uplift other people. And I just think she's a good example of that. And I think that all of us can be a good example of that. It's like sometimes I get on here and I talk about something that somebody told me or somebody shared, or when I was doing my Leading Ladies series and highlighting of, I mean, it could stand that it could make so much of a difference for somebody to just lift somebody up. You never know what that will do to somebody or for somebody. It can get somebody's name out there. It could cause somebody just to be encouraged a little bit more to go on. I think Lizzo does a great job of that. I really do. I really, really do. And because she does, you're just gonna have to get over her butt cheeks, because she's going to continue to show them as long as she has that platform also. Okay, moving on. That was number 4. The first one, for those of you who just came on, the first one was about Twitch, and I said do the best you can do to crawl out of those deep dark places. The second one was about Brittany Griner, and I said never give up and don't deny the power of love and the people around you helping to pull you out of things. The third one was Will Smith and Nick Cannon, for us to try to make decisions that you'll be able to live with. The fourth one was about Lizzo using your platform to uplift others. The fifth one is about Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown, Vaj, Bobby Brown, Lakiri. When I see Bobby Brown, all I can think of is the Redemption song, because that man has been through the fire. And I'm not saying that some of what Bobby Brown has done is not directly his doing. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is he's been through a lot, and he has been in so many ways redeemed, because for so long he was labeled as the bad boy, and he was labeled as the guy who corrupted Whitney Houston. And he lived with that for a long time. And before that happened, he was already, he already had been through a lot. If you watch the New Edition story, Bobby Brown had been molested by a preacher growing up. He had a rough time with his mom. I mean, it was just a lot. But Bobby Brown, I think the lesson we can learn from him is that redemption is available for anybody. I look at him now, he out here touring. I don't care y'all laughing at him. Y'all think he big now with that big stomach and talk about he looked like TD Jakes out here touring with New Edition. But you know what? That's okay, because he's here and he out on that tour. And I don't care if he only do 3 of the 26 steps that New Edition plans on that tour when they sing the songs. He's out there. He's out there. Yeah, he witnessed friends being murdered and killed. I mean, he's out here, and they get ready to go on tour again, and he's out here. Honey, he's out here. He making money. And when you listen to him talk now, he just sounds so grateful and thankful, like to be where he is, wife and kids now. He has lost some children, clearly, right? Lost the ex-wife, lost his daughter, lost a son. I know, Mom, but I'm just, I'm talking about Bobby. Bobby is a walking, I don't know. It's like the song that the angels can't sing, right? I've been redeemed. Like nobody can sing that song like Bobby Brown. Not one person. But Bobby is out here showing people. He got heart conditions. He got all kind of stuff. He got all kind of stuff still right now. Right now to this day. That's why everybody was rooting for him on that Versus with him and Keith Sweat, right? And Keith Sweat out there looking a drunk, hot mess. And I love Keith Sweat. But that fool got up there and acted a complete fool. He was drunk and he was slurring all over the place. And meanwhile, Bobby Brown is out here popping and locking, even with that big stomach. Anyway, that's another lesson we can learn 2022 is about redemption. The next lesson, and I got two more. The next lesson we can learn comes from Deion Sanders. You can like it or not, okay? This is my opinion about it. Sometimes people will disappoint you in a way you did not expect. Try not to take it too personal. That's a hard one. I'm going to read it again. Sometimes people will disappoint you in a way you did not expect. Try not to take it too personal. Now, I know that many people were hurt by Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State. But nobody was more hurt than the people at Jackson State, though. I don't want to hear it. Nobody else in the world was more hurt. But Deion made it very clear that, he has some goals and some things he wants to attain. And he saw moving to Colorado as, a part of that plan. Would I have liked to see Deion stay there a few more years and bring some old heads and line some other folks at some schools, like Ed Reed took the Bethune-Cookman coaching job, and like Eddie George coaches down at TSU? Or yes. The answer is yes. And Doug Williams been doing this, right? Doug Williams been doing this at Grambling State, Washington Redskin. But my point in this is that I know it's hard for people not to take stuff personally, but I think that there are times when we just can't take it personal. People do what they do. They make the decisions that they make. They move the way they move. They go, they come, they do whatever. And a lot of times it's more about them than it is you in the situation anyway, but we have complicated it with our feelings about it. So, I'm happy for Deion. I'm disappointed. That's just my opinion. I'm disappointed, but he did what he did. I'm just saying, try not to take it personally, because people will disappoint you sometimes in a way you didn't expect. But sometimes we also have to understand, because people are also going through their own things. People have their own plans, they have their own visions, their own goals, or whatever. People are working through their own emotions. People are dealing with their own stuff. And sometimes we just kind of get in the way of that, or in the path of that. All right, that was Deion. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was 7 people. The next 2 go together, and these are my last 2 to talk about of lessons learned. And I want to show y'all my books and stuff, getting ready for 2023. Meg the Stallion and Shanquella Robinson. Meg the Stallion's a rapper. I'm sure you all know that, but I have to do that because I don't know. People on here don't know who these people are, and that's okay. And Shanquella Robinson is the young lady who was killed in Mexico by people she traveled with that were labeled as her friends. Meg the Stallion was shot in the foot by her then boyfriend, Tory Lanez, while she was out with him and some other friends. So we know what the lesson here is, right? You got to know who your people are. You got to know who your people are. You got to know who your real friends are. And we have to stop acting like, sometimes like loyalty is something that is owed to people. Let me give you a perfect example. That song that came out years ago that said "No New Friends," that was one of the dumbest songs I've ever heard in my life. But they made money and people walked around saying "No new friends." Okay. Why would you close yourself off to new people? Why would you close yourself off to new people? There are some people you knew when you were younger that you don't even talk to anymore. There are some people you age out of, that you grow out of, that you grow away from, that you grow into, that you gravitate to. I cannot imagine for the life of me someone who will want their life completely defined by people they met when they were kids and could barely say the alphabet clearly. What does that mean? I don't understand that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be friends with people you've been friends with all your life, but I'm also saying that evolution is inevitable. I mean, people grow, people change, things happen, and sometimes the same philosophy that you and Shanquella had when y'all were 7 ain't the same philosophy you have when you're 14. It certainly ain't the same philosophy you have at 21. And then it ain't the same philosophy you have at 28 and 35 and 42 and so on and so forth. You don't always think the same anymore. So I'm just saying that because both of these, Shanquella and both Meg Thee Stallion, both of them were surrounded with people at the time of their demise, death, Shanquella, but injury for Meg. Those people that hung out with them or were there with them made those people feel like they were safe. And that's scary. If you felt safe enough to go out the country with somebody and then you were killed by those people, you felt safe enough to go out with somebody, and Meg and all of them, they were out and they were drunk and they were high, and I get that, right? But here's why it's so important to have the right people around you, because the right people around you are not going to allow you to, if you do get too drunk, if you do get too high, they ain't gonna let you go too far. They ain't gonna let you leave. You start wilding out, there's going to be one that's going to grab you and shut you down. It's always one person in your group anyway that's kind of like, they're not going to drink as much as everybody else or smoke or whatever. And so everybody in the crew can't be wasted. That's part of the problem, right? You got to you always have to have a buffer there. And if everybody in your crew are the people who like to drink and who like to smoke, then when y'all do go out, you got to rotate. Okay, this time when we go out, Meg is not going to do no drinking and smoking just in case something pop off. Okay, this time when we go out, Tori not going to do no drinking and smoking in case something pop off. Okay, this time Kelsey ain't going to do no drink. You got to do something. You got to do something. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your friends. But when you don't do that, then what happens is everybody gets the line. Everybody gets to scrambling, trying to cover something up, and you find out who your people are. And you find out who really liked you and who really didn't, who really cared for you and who really didn't, who thinks that being shot in the foot is not a big deal. We got to see the hand of the hand that many of the guys showed in the industry that so-called supported Megan, but not when this happened. It's this whole philosophy of what somebody deserves because of their behavior. You got to know who your friends are. You got to know who your people are. And you got to take turns taking care of each other, especially if you go out the country, because you are somewhere where you don't know the lay of the land. You don't know the situation. You don't know nothing. And so you're just there having a good time. But if something goes wrong, who's going to? Just bad. So know who your people are and surround yourself around the good people, the right people. All right. So those are my quick lessons for 2022. Those were just 9 or 10 lessons of 10 million lessons that we could have learned from this year and years before. But those are just the ones I chose to talk about. So really quickly, 2023 is a big year for concerts. Did y'all know this? 2023, we got the New Edition Legacy Tour that's going to have Keith Sweat and Guy and Tank. And that's going to be an amazing show, except somebody going to have to get a hold of Keith, because if he get in a drunken stupor like he did on that Versus, they're going to have to get him off the stage, because I don't want to see that. So they will be in the DMV area in March. Is it March or May? I think it's March. At the Capital One Arena. Usher extended his Vegas residency. So a few of my line sisters and I got tickets to go see him in Vegas in April. And do I know how I'm getting there yet? No, that's okay. We'll figure that out. Got the ticket to see Usher in Vegas in April. Janet Jackson. Janet is going on tour. She's picking up that tour she canceled. Y'all forgot she was on tour and then she canceled it. Janet will be right here in my backyard at the Jiffy Lube Center in Bristow, Virginia. That's crazy that Janet's coming to Jiffy Lube. I'm not saying Jiffy Lube is no slouch. It's been amazing people that have come to Jiffy Lube. Big, big, big names. But that's just really surprising. Thanks to my friend Tanisha, we got tickets. We got tickets to go see Janet. So I already have a ticket for Usher in May. I have a ticket for Usher in April. I have a ticket for Janet in May. I'm going to get my ticket for a New Edition in March. I just didn't yet. I was working backwards. Beyonce is going on tour. I hear Jill Scott is whispering about going on tour. They just don't want anybody having money next year. What are we going to do? We can't go to all these concerts. But this is a result of everybody coming off the pandemic. And what are we going to do? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of concerts. It's a lot of people and a lot of concerts, but y'all support these people. Y'all support these people. All right. Lastly, going into 2022, I got some really good books that I need. I need Sade to come in concert to Demila. Yes. First, my mom bought me this book, Michelle Obama, The Light We Carry. Thanks, Mom, for Christmas. So I got to get into this. 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 Can't wait to get into that. Okay. That's the first one. I bought this one this year, but I didn't break into it. And I know some of y'all you still have your own feelings about Will Smith, and that's fine. But I bought Will Smith's book and I plan to read it. I actually did already read a little bit of it, and it's really, really good. But I kind of jumped in the middle. It has pictures. It's great. So I'm going to get into Will Smith. Now, this book I did not finish, but I'm going to tell you it is amazing. This is by Lovey Jones, The Professional Troublemaker, The Fear Fighter Manual. This book is slapping. And she got another book out already, so I'm just behind. I got about 3,000 more pages to go. Amanda Seales, Small Doses. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I read, I'm the kind of person that I have to have multiple books open at one time because I have to be in the mood for certain books. I'm not ever going to just open one book and finish it from cover to cover and then go to the next one. I have to be in the mood for Amanda Seales. Amanda Seales is not everybody's cup of tea. She's raw. She says some things I don't agree with, some things I like, some things I don't. I go back and forth, but I like her more than I don't. But I can't always get into this. Plus, Small Doses reads, in my opinion, more like almost like a devotional. It's very topical, so you can move from one topic to it's not in order. It's called Potent Truths for Everyday Use, which means on one page she's talking about how bad hip hop did us, but on another page she's saluting the female rappers that come out of hip hop. On this page she's talking about ways to come up and networking, and it's not a novel is what I'm saying, right? So I have to be in the mood for that. The other thing is this book I got right here, and I cannot remember where I got this from. I saw this online, somebody was using it or something. It's called 642 Things to Write About. It's so weird. But I'm going to tell you, like, you just open it up and it says, describe one of your bad habits and why you secretly get joy out of it. Everything in here is so random. It's so random. Let me tell you one of the things I already wrote about. Right here it says, what can happen in a second? A house plant is dying. Tell why it needs to live. Like, these are just 4 random things. Mom, I got this from you. Describe your perfect day if you were an astronaut. It's random things, but I think it's really good. Like, it's thought-provoking because these are 642 thoughts. Probably out of these 642 thoughts, I probably have had maybe 142 of them, but they're so random and just for you to write them. Like, it says, your first time in a foreign country. I don't know. Write a letter to a child explaining how to do something. A translator who doesn't want to translate what she's just been told. How would they react? What is your perfect meal? 2 guys walking a bar. Finish this. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, my mom said I got it from her because my sister-in-law one of my sister-in-laws gave her the book. And then lastly is just a journal. I know not everybody's a writer, but if you think you're going to be able to look back on your life and remember things that happen, if you think you're going to accurately be able to reflect on 2023 or 2022, 2021, if you think you're going to accurately be able to reflect without having to write something down, I don't care if you just write down, today was a terrible day, I hit a deer, or I don't know, today was a terrible day, I chipped a nail. Like it will just jog your memory for when you want to go back and look. So everybody needs to get a journal, in my opinion. Get a journal and do something with it. Okay. Listen, don't be too hard on yourself. I heard Tabitha Brown say if you didn't do something this year, oh boy. If you didn't, hold on, my Instagram live is being messed up by a call. Anyway, if you didn't do something this year, don't worry about it. Add it to the next year. If you didn't finish something, work on finishing something. Don't be too hard on yourself. Do the best you can do with it. You know, it's just one of those things where we can be really hard on ourselves about what we did do, what we didn't do. You didn't exercise enough, try it again. You didn't make enough money, try it again. You didn't change jobs, try it again. You didn't make a good decision, try it again. Just do the best you can do, because life is too short to be worrying about what you did or did not do. If you have another day, another chance, just try it again. That's it. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. So hopefully those lessons that I shared with y'all through those people, Twitch, Brittany Griner, Will Smith, Nick Cannon, Lizzo, Bobby Brown, Deion Sanders, Meg Thee Stallion, and Shanquella Robinson, hopefully those lessons stick out to you. So I am going to leave. I have to preach tomorrow. It is January 1st. It is the first Sunday of the year. It's also my aunt's birthday tomorrow, my Aunt Cheryl. And it's exciting to be starting the year on a Sunday. Corey and I looked up, Christmas was on a Sunday. The next time Christmas is going to be on Sunday again is in 11 years. And I don't understand that. I thought it was just 7 because it just rotate. But look it up. It actually is, the next time Christmas is on a Sunday is in 11 years. Maybe it has something to do with the leap years in between. I don't know. I don't know. I don't do the math. I don't do the math. I just know that, you never know when it's going to be another time like that or another moment like that. So we just have to seize those moments, right? Anyway, I hope. Yeah, I think it's the leap years that causes that, moms. Next leap year is 2024, right? And then next one's 2028. I just don't understand how one day shifts everything so off like that, but it does what it does. I hope y'all are doing some fun stuff. If you're not going out and doing anything, I hope you're staying safe or going to church, an event, whatever you do, wherever you go and whatever you're doing, I hope you're going to be safe where you go. We're going to be right here. I'm going to make some Rotel dip. That's become like our traditions, to make some New Year's Rotel dip. I think we're going to pop a pizza in the oven, some fries. Tatum's going to make another charcuterie board. Like we made charcuterie board without the board because we didn't want to use board that we made for Christmas. And we're just going to sit here and be thankful and grateful. And I am going to be watching Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. I don't care what y'all say. And Don Lemon, they're going to sneak a drink. Because I think they're going to risk it. CNN ain't going to fire them. I'm going to be watching them for the laughs and the gags. Okay? Period. It's always exciting. I have a sorority sister that's in New York right now. Woo! That is something else. But that's definitely a bucket list item. I probably have to go by myself, though, because Corey is not going to want to be up in New York in the thick of that. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great intro to your new year. Say a prayer for all those families whose loved ones did not even make it to this day. But definitely maybe not even making it into the new year. Say a prayer for me as, yes, Deshay, let's plan it. Because Corey looked at me and he was like, bucket list for what? So he said it ain't happening. And as far as the girls go, Trinity will probably want to go. But the twins, I don't know. They're not as extroverted as I am. So Anywho, I hope y'all have an amazing night. Yeah, no kids. No kids. I can't do it. They're gonna be tired anyway. I can imagine them people been out there standing there since this morning. Whew. I'm gonna have to check in with Bernadette. I should send her. I should just text her and just say, "Hey, what y'all doing?" and see where they are and see what's going on. Anyway, just another reminder for the home team. Deshay, I found another spot for Fago. I found another location. It's the Shoppers, but it's the Shoppers in Stafford, which is not super far from me, but it's not super close. So next time I go, I can pick you up a stash. You know, our Big Lots got the grape and the lime and the orange. I'm not a big fan of, I don't like orange, period, but Shoppers got the peach, they got the pineapple, they got the pineapple orange, they got the cotton candy, they got the rocky rye. I'm gonna have to load up next time I go. I might go actually before school starts and get some more. So I'm gonna be bringing in the new year with some home stuff. Oh, Demila, your corner store had wow in Cali. Ah, man, listen, Fago's going all over the world. It's going all over the world. All right, y'all, I got to get off. I got to preach tomorrow. Y'all pray for me that I bring the message that God wants me to bring and not what I want to bring. And I pray that you all have a blessed New Year's Eve night into your New Year's Eve, into your New Year's Day tomorrow. Bye.